Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 31st of August, now it's 15 past 9 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There are quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment. But before I start, let me once again highlight that this project, with several channels on YouTube, Rumble and Telegram, exists thanks to support of members of our community, and I will be immensely grateful if you will also consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page, on which I do upload extra content on regular basis. You can see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. That being said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with short summary of the situation on the battlefield. So let's go from southern regions up to northern ones. So Kherson region, no significant changes during previous 12 to 24 hours. It's mainly artillery duels between the sides and recon operations. I will characterize situation as a deadlock when nothing is happening in the scale that will influence overall situation on entire sector. When it comes to Zaporozhye and South Donetsk direction, main sectors of the front where Ukrainian so-called counteroffensive is taking place. We have traditionally two main hotspots here. First in Zaporozhye region, Orekhov direction, in the southern side of Orekhov, in area of settlements Robotyne, Verbova and Novoprokopyevka, this settlement here. And according to latest news, no significant changes in this direction. Last couple of days, intensity of hostilities did decrease significantly, which may happen due to exhaustion of Ukrainian forces that are trying to conduct the counteroffensive in particular in this area. And on Russian Telegram pages and Russian media outlets are for several days now are circulating numbers of Ukrainian brigades that was involved in counteroffensive in this particular area. And according to those numbers, Ukrainian forces concentrated to conduct this offensive more than 10 brigades in this area. And since the beginning of this counteroffensive, Ukrainian side just in this small area lost up to 20,000 soldiers killed and wounded. We can take this information with pinch of salt, but I guess losses on Ukrainian side is really extremely high, and that must be one of the reasons why for last several days Ukrainian forces are slowing down their activity and are not really able to conduct offensive operations in the scale that we see in previous weeks. When it comes to operational situation on the ground, Robotyne is still disputed. Ukrainian forces are controlling a northern part of settlement and the central part in some areas, but southern western part of Robotyne is still under control of Russian forces. Yesterday afternoon we had reports that some Ukrainian units did manage to reach Verbova settlement here on the eastern side of Robotyne settlement. And according to some channels, Telegram channels and YouTube channels, forward units of Ukrainian forces even managed to enter Verbova and establish foothold on the northwestern side of this settlement, taking control over the several buildings, but I did not see photo or video confirmation of that. Maybe Ukrainian forces did manage to reach Verbova itself, and if that's the case, then in coming days probably we will see beginning of the fight for Verbovo settlement, and also hotspot is Nova Prokopovka, this settlement here on the southern side from Robotyne. Ukrainian forces did, or Ukrainian media did report that forward units of Ukrainian armed forces did enter Novoprokopovka also, this settlement, but yet again I did not see any photo or video confirmation of this. But what we can say with the certainty is that Ukrainian forces did manage to establish control over the fields between Robotyne and Verbovo, and they are quite close to Novoprokopovka also. But will they be able to continue their forward movement is a big question, because as time goes by and Ukrainian forces are concentrated in this small area here more and more, risk that Russian side will conduct counteroffensive to cut this to encircle this grouping of forces of Ukrainian army is increasing. And by the way, not just that, but a few days ago on one of the most popular Russian media projects, Solovyov Live, Solovyov himself, host of that project, and one of the Russian military expert were openly talking about possibility that Russian side may use tactical nuclear warhead in this particular area because of extremely high concentration of Ukrainian forces in this area. I find it strange. I did share that video episode on my Telegram page yesterday or day before, and I did express my that I was surprised to see such a conversation openly on the one of the main projects, but because Solovyov is quite close to military circles in Russia, quite close to Kremlin, well, maybe I was thinking to myself, maybe something is going on here, because why should otherwise Solovyov will talk about nuclear weapons to be used in this area. And well, this is just a speculation, of course, but who knows? Maybe somewhere in defense ministry of Russian Federation or in decision-making centers have been discussed possibility to use tactical nuke in this area, and maybe in some other areas also, to neutralize a large grouping of forces of Ukrainian army, and therefore minimize casualties among Russian military personnel, and same time basically end this Ukrainian so-called counteroffensive right away. But yet again, I'm skeptical that this will happen. I'm skeptical that Russian side will really use tactical nuke in this area, but well, there are some talks about it. So who knows? But well, if Russia will do such a thing, then entire this grouping of forces of Ukrainian army that are now heavily concentrated in this bridgehead, Robotyne, Verbovo, Novopokrovka areas, well, will be destroyed, I guess. But yet again, this is just pure speculation. I was just surprised to see such a talk about possibility of using tactical nukes on the sector of the front, on one of the most popular channels, media projects in Russia. But overall, by the way, overall situation in Zaporozhye sector of the front is quite stable, and Russian side has operational control over situation. Ukrainian forces, we can probably say at this moment that Ukrainian forces did reach first line of defense in these fields, in areas between Robotyne and Verbovo, but I don't think they will be able to conduct offensive on the first line of defense until they will establish control over the Robotyne and the Verbovo, full control. And I have doubts that Ukrainian forces will be able to do so. But let's see in coming days. In coming days, we will probably learn some more about Zaporozhye sector of the front and possible developments. When it comes to South Donetsk, direction, no significant changes in this area. After Ukrainian forces did manage to establish control over the settlement of Urozhaine on the Vremevsky salient, activity of Ukrainian side decreased significantly, and it's almost a week now, or even more than a week, that we did not see any more or less significant scale offensive operations from Ukrainian forces in this area. It's mainly artillery duels, recon operations, and the drone fights between the sides. When it comes to Donetsk direction, almost the similar stories. No significant changes in comparison to previous day. Usual hot spots still the same: Marinka, Krasnogorovka, and Avdiivka. Even though there are some reports that Russian side in coming days may conduct local scale offensive operation in direction of Pervomayskaya, in direction of Avdiivka. And some channels even reporting that preparations for offensive operation in Avdiivka direction is finished, and Russian forces are ready to encircle, to establish operational encirclement on Avdiivka. Let's see how the situation develops. But right now, I will say it's still operational pause. Nothing is happening in the scale that will influence overall situation on the battlefield. Same goes for Bakhmut area. No significant developments. There were some reports that Ukrainian forces were trying to conduct some reckoning force operations on the southern flanks of Bakhmut without any success. And as I said quite a few times before, I don't believe that Ukrainian forces will be able to regain initiative in the Bakhmut area or in any of the northern sectors of the front line, from Seversk and Liman up to Kupyansk and the entire Kharkov region. Initiative there is in Russian hands, and even though Ukrainian forces constantly are trying to improve their positions on the northern sectors, they are failing time after time because, as I said, initiative is in Russian hands, and Russian positions are strong enough, I believe, to conduct large-scale offensive operations. So to achieve any breakthrough in this area, Ukrainian side need to send almost entire its army that they have left now. Otherwise, they will not be able to even hope for any success in the northern sectors of the front. And this is a short summary. This is short summary of the situation on the battlefield. Now let's go through some other news. And the RIA Novosti is reporting, based on statements from Mayor of Moscow, Sergei Sobyanin, that this morning Russian air defense systems did shut down yet another Ukrainian drone in southern eastern part of Moscow region. And according to Mayor of Moscow, no reports have been made by emergency services about casualties on the ground or any significant damage. Unfortunately, this type of activity from Kiev regime is becoming daily routine, and well, I'm afraid this will continue until Western so-called elites are providing Zelensky and his regime with intelligence technologies and long-range weaponry. Next news is reported by TASS agency, according to which Russian militaries did repeal 6 Ukrainian local-scale counteroffensives in Kupyansk direction. Well, as I just said minutes ago, Ukrainian forces do try to regain initiative at least in some directions on the northern sectors, but as I said, the Russian forces are in strong enough positions in Kharkov region to not just repeal Ukrainian counteroffensives, but to conduct large-scale offensive operations. And my understanding is that they are now waiting for a green light from Moscow to conduct such a operation, which may take place in the first few weeks of the September, or at least before rainy season begins. But yet again, this is just a guess. Let's see what decisions Russian Defense Ministry will make. And by the way, next news is from TASS agency. Also, press spokesman of Russian President Dmitry Peskov was asked if Putin is informed about massive Ukrainian drone strike that took place yesterday night or early morning, during the which one of the Russian airfields were struck in Pskov region, which is close to St. Petersburg. And Peskov said that President of Russian Federation in real time are receiving all the latest information about situation on in the zone of special military operation. So he did reassure journalists that Putin is very well informed about these strikes. Well, I guess question now is how will Moscow respond on this action. And by the way, until now I did not see any reports or any statements from Russian officials from where these drones came in that struck Pskov airfield, because speculations are still continuing, and well, some even suggesting that these drones were sent possibly from Estonia or by Estonia's airspace. But this is just speculation. As I said, I did not see any official statements from Russian Defense Ministry or Kremlin about areas that these drones were launched from. But yet again, I don't think Estonia's or Latvia's, for that matter, establishment or political leadership is that crazy that they will allow Ukrainian side to use their airspace or their land to launch strikes on Russia. I just don't believe that that's the case. But what I do believe is that Ukrainian side may send some saboteurs in Baltic states. They may reassemble drones there and use territories of these states to conduct strikes on Russia. And this way, Zelensky and his associates may try to provoke direct conflict between Russia and NATO. That's a possibility, because I guess Zelensky and his inner circle do understand perfectly well that they are done, basically. And they may think only way to survive is to provoke direct conflict between Russia and NATO. So Moscow, Tallinn, Riga, Vilnius, Warsaw, and all the other capitals that somewhat are involved in all this crisis in Ukraine should be very, very careful when it comes to Zelensky and his associates and the provocations that they may conduct. And some steps should be taken to make sure that Russia and NATO will stay out of direct confrontation. But anyway, let's continue. TASS news agency is reporting, based on article in Forbes, that Ukraine may use the Sidewinder missiles, US air-to-air Sidewinder missiles on its MiG-29 and Su-27 fighter jets, because Soviet era air-to-air missiles are in short in Ukrainian Air Force, and they are running out of those type of missiles. Even though when I read this information, I was thinking, why they are running out of these missiles? They're not using those. There was very few air-to-air combat that Ukrainian Air Force did conducted since the beginning of special military operation. It's a Russian side that actively using air battles to take down Ukrainian fighter jets, Ukrainian helicopters, and so on. But anyway, this information may be pure speculation on behalf of Forbes. But well, if experts of U.S. military-industrial complex will try to adapt Sidewinder missiles to MiG-29 and Su-27, well, probably they will succeed in it. In this, they will just upload they will upload a new fire control system probably in those planes, and Sidewinders in that case can be used, I guess. But overall, I don't think Ukrainian Air Force ever will be capable to, be significant, to conduct significant fight against Russian Air Force. I mean, it's just not happening. And question is, how many those MiG-29s and Su-27s Ukraine still has left? Like 2, 3, 5? I don't know. So even it's hard to even talk seriously about Ukrainian Air Force because they have none. Just a few planes. Come on. And let's continue now. RT is reporting that this is quite interesting news. RT is reporting that Ukrainian nationalists are now, and not just Ukrainian nationalists or Nazis and extremists, but also Zelensky himself is now criticizing Pope Francis, head of Catholic Church. And well, they are basically accusing Pope Francis that he is conducting some pro-Russian propaganda. That's how out of touch these crazy individuals that are running and ruining Ukraine are, really. And let me read several sentences from this news. So Pope Francis has served as an instrument of Russian propaganda after speaking firmly or warmly about the nation's rich historical legacy. Mikhail Podolyak, top aide to Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky, has said so. By the way, what happened is that a few days ago there was a mass in St. Petersburg, and as I understand, Pope Francis had a TV link, spoke to gathering in the church, in one of the Catholic churches in St. Petersburg, and he spoke about Russian history in nice terms, which is absolutely normal. I mean, you're not gonna disrespect a country where people to which or citizens of which you are speaking to. And well, it seems like Zelensky and his associates didn't really like that head of Catholic Church did said few warm or nice words about Russian history, and I wouldn't be surprised if Pope will end up in this kill list of Ukrainian Nazis and secret services under the name of Mirotvorets. That's how crazy they are, really, man. That's how crazy they are. and out of touch with reality. I guess Vatican will made some statements about it, because I don't think it's appropriate for some crazy individual like Podolyak is to accuse Pope Francis of anything. I mean, it's just well. But anyway, let's continue. And the TASS news agency is reporting that, according to Telegraph, Daily Telegraph, US is planning to deploy in England 2 squadrons of F35 fighter jets this winter, which is quite a significant move, because these planes are nuclear capable. They can carry missiles and bombs with nuclear warheads, and if this will happen, then I guess several more Russian nuclear warheads will be programmed to strike those areas where these squadrons will be deployed in England, in United Kingdom. One more step towards escalation with Moscow from Washington, but at this stage we probably are not really surprised by any move from so-called Western elites. I mean, and at the same time, RT is reporting that US is seeking to boost its nuclear force in UK, which is basically continuation of previous report about F-35s. If those planes will be deployed, then it's quite obvious that US will probably deploy in England additional number of nuclear warheads or nuclear weapons. Also for these planes, for these 2 squadrons. And yet again, UK citizens should think, do they really need to be potential target for Russian nuclear weapons? I mean, why they are allowing this madness to happen? I mean, did Russia threaten UK in any ways? No. So from whom Washington supposed to protect UK with by deploying nuclear weapons and nuclear capable fighter jets? You tell me. And by the way, RIA Novosti is reporting that Senegalese army, according to media reports, Senegalese army is ready to conduct intervention in Niger. I guess it will not happen just with Senegalese military personnel. Nigeria probably will also participate, and some other ECOWAS member states, but there is still room for diplomatic solution, and let's hope that well, there will be no intervention in Niger, because it may blow up entire region of West Africa and even Northern Africa, because as I mentioned a few times before, Algeria, for example, supports Niger's new government. Morocco, for example, do not. And Algeria and Morocco have some very difficult relationships, and it's Libya also there, with its own internal and problems and some difficult relationships with the neighbors. And Egypt, of course, main force in North Africa, which may probably get involved in one way or another if conflict will be provoked in Niger and in entire region there. So let's hope diplomats will prevail and there will be no military escalation. But yet again, it all depends if current leadership of France will stop provoking conflict. But will they? That's That's the question. And by the way, I did a report yesterday that military coup was conducted in Gabon, also in the Central Africa, on the western coast of a continent. And I did research about that situation because I was interested what was going on in Gabon. And it turned out that, and you tell me if my understanding is wrong, but it turns out that militaries removed from power pro-France president and put in power general that is pro-US. And well, it seems like US is behind of this coup, and they removed French pro-France president, which may once again indicate that relationships between leadership of France and US, leadership between France and UK, are really tense and not really as friendly as it's supposed to be, because after all these countries are supposed to be at least strategic partners and have military alliance. But that's what happened. So pro-US militaries remove from office pro-France government, president. And this coup in Gabon has nothing to do with Russia whatsoever. But anyway, let's continue. And RT is reporting that EU set to import record volume of Russian LNG. And let me give you some additional news. EU countries are set to buy record volumes of liquefied natural gas from Russia this year, even as the bloc pledges to stop consuming Russian fuel by 2027. The latest findings published by Global Witness on Wednesday revealed members of the bloc continued to import a significant amount of LNG from Russia in the first 7 months of this year, data shows. The EU has banned imports of Russian seaborne oil since the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine and drastically reduced shipments of pipeline gas from Moscow. LNG, however, has so far gone unsanctioned despite repeated calls from number of EU officials. Belgium and Spain were the second and the third biggest buyers overall, purchasing 7.5 million cubic meters and 7.1 million cubic meters respectively, while France was fifth on the list with 4.5 million cubic meters. China led the way with 8.7 million cubic meters in LNG imports from Russia. Well, by the way, quite a numbers, isn't it? So publicly, these so-called leaders of Western states are talking some anti-Russian nonsense 24/7, but in reality, they are increasing exports of Russian LNG and basically paying money to Russia. So that's a world that we are living in, when it's difficult to take seriously any statements from at least from so-called Western elites, but from elites in general, really. So that's what is happening. Publicly, they are constantly demonstrating their anti-Russian stance and Russophobia, and how they're going to destroy Russian economy, and how Russian economy is in tatters. And in reality, they are increasing imports from Russia when it comes to LNG, and well, in some ways participating in Russian in success of Russian economy. But anyway, let's continue. RT is also reporting that Russia's internet visa scheme drives sharp increase in tourist bookings. So as you know, just a little bit, just some time ago, Russian Moscow did made statement to introduce internet visa applications, and many people did began using this service. And according to numbers of foreign booking of Russian hotels, increased 25% in August in comparison to July, and by 40% year-on-year terms. And by the way, this new service will allow citizens of 55 countries to apply for Russian tourist visa, and they will receive visa in about 4 days. And they can stay in Russia with this visa for 12 days, as I understand. It will cost $52 US. I will share this information on my Telegram, and well, if you are interested, you can. If you are planning to travel to Russia, you can read this article here. But of course, best way is to contact Russian embassy in your country and receive all the necessary information from embassy or Russian cultural center, if it does exist in your city or country. Let's continue now. How long is this video? 36 minutes. Then just a few more news. So by the way, in China, map was published, new map, and this is Kommersant newspaper is reporting, and according to this new map, one Russian island is depicted as a Chinese territory on Amur River, which is on the border between the two countries. And well, Russian media did pay attention to this, and Russian society also, at least some part of Russian society. And well, we are talking about big Ussuri island on the map, on the Amur River, and this island, as I understand, is divided in the half between the sides, somewhat in half between the sides. One side controlled by China, it's Chinese territory, and one side, another side, is part of Russia, and border goes in between. And because this map was published with approval of government, Chinese state institutions, well, Russian media did begin to ask questions. Are China truly as friendly to Russia as some may think? Because demarcation of a border with China has happened already, and officially China has no claim on any of Russian territories, and there is no border dispute between the sides, or at least not supposed to be. But well, this move from China definitely did give a reason to be wary to many citizens of Russia that are not really keen to believe that China is a truly friendly state towards to Russia. But in any case, and by the way, Russian Foreign Ministry did not say nothing about this story, nothing. If Poland will do something like that, if Poland will publish map and some parts of Kaliningrad, let's say, end up in Poland on those maps, well, I'm quite sure Russian Foreign Ministry will make statement about it. But in this case, when we are talking about China, I did not see any statement from Foreign Ministry or from any high-ranking official whatsoever, which is also not quite right in my understanding. But anyway, that's why Moscow and New Delhi should have a strategic partnership in all levels to make sure that China is, China does understands that
if it will act hawkishly towards any of these countries, then you know, it will be forced to deal with both countries, with Russia and India simultaneously from south and north, and well, that may keep Beijing's ambitions in check. Maybe. But I didn't like this story at all, man. This is not a friendly move. This is not a mistake. This is deliberate testing of Russia. And, well, I'm afraid this is not the last case when China is demonstrating its not really friendly attitude towards Russian Federation. That's how I take this story. And, well, RT is also reporting that European banks are losing customer deposits. This is S&P's data. And according to S&P Global, European banks lost, to be short, European banks lost 3.9% of year-on-year, 3.9% of deposits, which is, I mean, may not seem like huge number, at least for now, but well, because Western so-called elites do use banking system, financial system as a whole, and currencies, euro and dollar as a weapon. Well, I guess for many citizens of world have no trust anymore in European banks, and they want to, you know, they want to move their funds from European banks to some other areas where their savings will be more safe. So this will continue, I guess, this trend that European banking system will lose customers. Just recently, we all remember one of the biggest Swiss bank end up being in deep trouble, exactly because of losing trust of investors. And RIA Novosti's report, according to which Russian GDP did grow 1.6% in the first excuse me. So Russian GDP did grow 1.6% in the first 6 months of this year, which is maybe not too big of a number, but it's more than a majority of European states. GDPs did grow. And by the way, some major European states are on the verge of recession. So if you take that in account, then, well, this number definitely may surprise even. And according to latest predictions, in year-on-year terms, Russian economy this year will grow somewhere around 2.5–2.7%, which is truly quite an achievement if you take in account all this pressure from Western so-called elites and then sanction war and all that stuff. But anyway, this is it for now. Well, quite a long video, 45 minutes, but hopefully you will find this update interesting, and if so, please consider to click that like button and leave some commentary about any topic you like. If you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, or any other platform that you are active on. That will significantly increase my chances to reach wider audience. And if you think this channel is interesting, informative, useful, and deserves to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You will see links under this video in description box or in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.